All right, we're back. We're doing a little addendum to the addendum. It's after 6, I know, and we got a couple of people that stuck around. It is Comp 1006 in the winter 2017. You got to change this bloody thing.
Yeah.
Semester, and we are week 4, part 3 of our broadcast. And we did the first one. We just changed the other one before I go crazy. I changed one, but I didn't change the other one. Darn. This one. Winter 2017. Anyways, I found a solution for Heroku, but not for Azure. Azure seems to be really finicky when it comes to creating a PHP database with MySQL, which is totally fine. We don't have to use it. Until I find a solution, I think the best solution is going to be Heroku. All right, so how does it work? First of all, you need to set up an app. I made it Comp 1006. You have to make your own. Again, the way to do that is you want to create an app. So you click on Heroku. You're going to click New, and they're going to make an app from there. Right now, when you come to the new app, you have to name it with lowercase. It's got to be unique. It can't be the same name as anybody else in the world. Right. So that's the first thing. When you get to your app, you're going to do a couple things. You're going to click Resources. Right. And you're going to search for MySQL down here. So when I search for MySQL, notice there's 2 that come up. I tried ClearDB. I had some success, but not a lot. But it looks like JAWSDB had the right level of success for me. So I clicked I added JAWSDB. And when you do, you have to, the only way you can add this in is if you verify your account with a credit card. Now, the credit card, they're not going to take any money from you, but it's a requirement. Whenever you add an add-on, there's no other way to give that they will give you some access except for this. So it doesn't require any money. Like they've never taken money from me, Heroku. Right? It's just a verification method for them. You have to go to verify your accounts. If you actually go to here, and if I go to click on myself and go to account settings, you can verify yourself, I'm sure. All right. Anyway, so after that's added, when you get that account done, and this is where you'd have to pause the video, go verify your account and come back. And this is, I know I'm recording, but don't worry about this. It's not really that important. I'm going to kill this app and do it a couple times, right? So you get some credentials. The key note is here that you're not going to use this connection string up here. No. You're going to use the host name, you're going to use the username, and you're going to use the password. The port is still going to stay at 3306. All this stuff is the same. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to manage it with any other server right now. So when we connect, again, step 1. So we get this information. Here in my in PHP Storm, I tried to set up Azure. This is all the Azure stuff. I'm just going to delete it right now because it failed to work. So all this stuff I'm going to delete. And I did a bunch of commits online. If you check my repository, you'll see that there's a bunch of commits. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of uncheck these ones, and I'll explain what I did here. This is all pre-done. So what I did was I put in MySQL the host and the name that I got from them, which is this part up to here, right? The database name is the one part we don't have control over, this part right here. And the way you get that is from the connection string. So if you actually look down here, this last part of the connection string is the database name. So we'd have to change our database. We can't no longer call it GamesDB or whatever it was. We have to use their connection string, their database name. Once you get the database name and you put it in there, then that's half the battle, right? You've got to put in their username and password that they provided for you, and now you've got your DSN string. Okay, that's part 1, the connection. I'm going to save this, so I'm going to go to VCS, and I'm going to go to commit changes, and in here I'm going to say switch back to Heroku connection string details. Really long commit, but anyways, I'm going to commit. I'm going to ignore the warning and click commit. And then I'm going to go VCS, git, and then push, which is going to push everything back up to GitHub. That's number 1. Now this is going to work for me. And this is where our kind access to JAWSDB works through our MySQL Workbench. So I've configured MySQL Workbench to connect with JAWS, as well as they figured out locally automatically. So here's JAWS DB. Now I found out also, this is the funny thing, if I'm wired to the school server, this will fail. I'll never be able to connect. But if I'm wireless, it seems that the port that I'm trying to connect on, 3306, is fine. So what I need to do here is I want to import into my database. And I've created this games table by importing, right? Now notice, there's a bunch of little options here for different things. But what I wanted to do is import into my server. So again, if you hover over these little tools here, create new schema. We can't do a new schema, a new table, right? And create. Now what I want to do is import, right? And that was easy to find earlier, but it's escaping me right now. Let's take a look and see if I can find it. Of course, when I did it earlier, it was easy to do. I mean, it's done for me. But for you, what you need to do is you need to import it's just a query. You need to import your database, right? And so I'm going to go database, and I think it's imports. Because that was the problem. The problem was when I clicked on my database and I looked at this is my database information, my collation, and so on. I can't do anything. I can't add a new database. That's the one thing I can't do with JAWS DB or anything else. What I can do, though, is I can import into my table, into my database. I can do that, right? And I think here it is, table data import wizard. So you're going to go here. You're going to find the path. Well, this is CSV. I use CSV. I use a SQL file. La la la. When you do this earlier, it's fantastically easy. Once I'm starting to record, it's been a curse today. Data import. Okay, here it is. Data import. So once you go to data import, so again, I went to server data import. It brings me to this point right here. But this is pointing to some import dump. I don't want that. I want it in a self-contained file, and I want to get it from where I have it. I've exported it from my phpMyAdmin, and the way to do that is here in your WAMP server. You're going to go to phpMyAdmin, right? And you're going to kind of log in. In this case, I'm using Dash's login. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think is what I made it. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once I log into hers, I've got my GameDB database. There it is. I'm going to click on there. I'm going to go to export, and I'm going to choose the simple exporter, not the custom one. Click go, and what it's going to do is, I'm not going to do it right now because I already have this. It's going to put it inside your downloads folder on your machine. One day. So there's going to see users, Tom, downloads. That's where it's going to put it. And it's going to be, I just named it the same, GameDB SQL. So this is where it is. So now that I know that it's there, and I've done all this work already, right? I can go back into my SQL Workbench, and what I want to do here is point to that file. So click onto it, and when this comes up, you're going to point to that file that you're coming back into. And you're going to point to this file, click open, right? And then you're going to click start import at the bottom. Once this is done, it's going to import the games table into your tables. But if you notice, the database name is not in your control. So it'll be this database name like I mentioned earlier, right? Now that I've done that and I've uploaded to Heroku, I haven't made any extra change to Heroku. I should be able to go up in Heroku right now and see the site, right? So again, if you're going to take a look at this thing, the link is this, right? .heroku.com, it should be, right? So I'm going to copy this one, or if I open the app, that's the other way to do it. So it looks like it goes to COMP1006 and then herokuapp.com, and then there you have it. So it worked on Heroku, right? And that's what it was. The biggest problem was when I was doing it here, I copied the connection string and it blotted this one out. I can't. I need to keep this MS SQL, my host. I put this connection string in here, and you have no choice of what the database looks like here. This database name has to be the same database name, the one they give you, not the one you want. Okay, any questions? You get that? But for those people who are watching, that's the way that it's done. Now, I've put up my username and password information, of course, up on Heroku on GitHub, which JAWSDB is very quick. They find that stuff really fast. They do a search, and they'll probably send me a note very soon telling me, take it down, right? Because that's how fast they are. They don't like when you put it up on whatever, especially not in a public account. They want me to put it on a private account. Because when you push from there, it has to be private. So just FYI, that's how it's going to work. Now, you guys have private accounts, so it's no problem for your assignments. Your assignment number one, but that's what they would require you to do. Typical for them to call me and say, hey, or send an email and say, hey, it doesn't work. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, send it off. But the best way to check this out, first of all, is, again, take a look at my GitHub account, my GitHub link, which is the new one for today, GitHub, Georgian College. And if you look at this lesson right here, this gives you all the details, right, for how this works in the index.php file, right? That's what we've done today. So this is the account. This is the actual link. I'm going to put this in our Slack for today, right? So, again, I think I had it already in here, but maybe not. So I'll say GitHub link for lesson 4. And this one. So I got that done. Here's my Heroku, which is where we're listening. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put up the video for this one to kind of fix the fix to get onto Heroku. All right. So once I'm start recording. Again, I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll be able to find the solution for Azure as well. Although it seems pretty convoluted compared to the easiness that I had, the no problems that I had really relatively with Heroku. Heroku was an easy fix. And I'll see you guys next week.